We're here at Phong Audio showroom, and obviously we do the previous video in the preamplifier session. But for today, we will dive deeper into the Gomund ethos, the design philosophy, and a lot other more. So my first question to you is like, oftentimes I consider Gomund as the Patek Philippe of the high-end audio world, because obviously you have the artisanship, you have the high recognition, the quality itself, and especially the gold badge. It's look fantastic in real life. And so I was wondering, because like the last 2 years we saw the change of the almost all of the products from electronics to speaker as well, a lot of new products introduced. So what is the reason behind that sudden change into the next generation?
Okay, so the reference to Patek is very interesting because at some point we had our headquarters in the same street as Patek Philippe, so we were really in the same industrial area. Not anymore. We moved to a new factory 2 years ago because we needed to grow.
Yes.
To answer your question in hopefully in not too many words, about 3 years ago, we decided that we wanted to launch a new flagship product in the speaker section of the range. This speaker product is, we are standing right next to it. Maybe we can't see it on the video, but we are standing next to it. Gaia. I was thinking it was not big enough, maybe. And so we decided to go in a different path as before, that is working with a designer, industrial designer. We, from the very technical point of view, made like a technical data sheet, what to follow. This is our acoustical engineer who decided that. And then we talked to the designer and said, this is what we need. Now you can do the project around all that. And she came out, the lady that did that, with the product that we have next to us, which is called Gaia. I explained that first because that has a link, and it is linked to the redevelopment of the whole brand. So we started with that, and then we thought from the aesthetical point of view, why not applying some of the codes, visual codes that we had decided were representing really the core of Goldmoon from the outside. Why don't we apply it to the electronics as well? Let's do a revamp. The revamp then led to another kind of thinking. It was like, some parts are getting maybe old now. There are new things available on the market that could be interesting from the electronic point of view, for example. And we also had some parts which were obsolete completely. So no choice, we have to redo. And you know, in electronics, when one part becomes obsolete, the consequence might be that you have to redo a whole part of the product. Yes. That might imply that. So the engineers discussed with each other. Everybody had some ideas of improvement, and they thought, why don't we do the products from scratch? So when we decided, very often we redo the flagship of each line. For the speakers, it is Gaia. For the amplifiers, it is Telos 8800 in the current line. And for the preamp, it is Mimesis Reference that we discussed before. So we started with that, and then all of a sudden we thought, we have to do the whole line again. So it applied to amplification, preamplification, and then we decided for speakers as well. This is how it happened. Sometimes in companies, it's a small decision leads to a bigger project, and that's how it happened.
So let's talk about what we all know and love Gomund for, the cost no object, the flagship products, something like the Telos 8800, and also the Mimesis Reference as well. So can you share a little bit about the details of those flagship as well, because they will, especially they will have a lot to fill in from the previous generation products.
To start with the Telos 8800, flagship is the word. I think we can all see that it's an exceptional product from the shape itself and the size. shape, keeping the main recognizable elements. We know it's a Goldmund when you look at it, but it's different. This new generation. We have, as always, and as I mentioned before, when you are talking about products at this level, the question is always, what can you do better than best? When you have a product that's already recognized as super good, how can you improve it? What else can you bring on the market to make potential buyers interested, and for them also to say, yes, there is something here, we're going another step. Maybe it's a small step, but it's a recognizable step. That might be the use of new elements inside of the product. That's what we did for Telos 880. We used new capacitors, for example. They are specially made for us, tailor-made, let's say. We have also worked a lot on the thermal regulation. So you can see from the outside that there are those big sinks that are aesthetic, but not only. At Goldmund, everything that you see, maybe the only aesthetic thing there is maybe the badge. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's useful because you know it's Goldmund. But for the rest, it has a purpose. So the way we are trying to regulate, to take the heat out, it's either from the outside but also from the inside, the way everything is built. So that is extremely important. Extremely important for what reason? Because this is a very powerful amp, probably one of the most powerful you can find on the market. I think it's 1400 WRMS at 8 ohms, so
yes,
it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's quite powerful, and it's at the same time very stable, extreme stability. So you can be sure that you will be able to drive any speaker, even the most demanding ones, loads at 1 ohm, without any difficulty. This makes me think about something interesting and important, I think, to mention. If you ask me, but what's the difference between Telos 8800, Telos 4800, and the smaller ones, 2800, 1800? Of course, you have an aesthetical difference.
Yes.
Some of them are big boxes, others look like little luxury fridges. I would tell it like that.
Yeah.
And in very beautiful material and stuff. But most of them will do a very good job because they will drive, and also not only drive, but they will also reveal what's best about a speaker. Sometimes what's worse also, that might happen. But if it's a good quality speaker, all of those, from the entry line to the top of the line, will do a super good job with the speakers. But some speakers are more demanding than others, and you know that treble will never be a problem, medium normally should be okay, bass will be something else. So yeah, those super high flagship things, they are really here to answer to any request. Whatever the complexity of the system you have, they will be here. You can faithfully trust them.
So obviously we already talked about the preamplifier, the Mimesis reference. So we'll talk about the new product, one step down, the digital and analog preamplifier, Mimesis Excellence. Exactly. So obviously it's the first time that Goldmund introduced a timid digital audio board inside a product.
That's right.
Yes, and so I think that will raise a lot of questions about the customer as well, because so what is exactly the Themis? How is it different from Allied DAC? And also, because most people will use that at only the central source plug into the power amplifier. So how does it compare to a separate high-end DAC in the market today?
When it comes to DAC issues, there is still a conversation among audiophiles about do we have a separate product or do we have a DAC inside? So you mentioned our technology, which is very well known, which is called ALIZE. And this techno has already started to evolve quite a while ago. And we decided to go one step further. So we are using a DAC chipset, which is from AKM, which we think at this level of product is a very, very good proposal and solution. Going back on the separate DAC, we used to have one, you know it, it's called 20H Next Gen. The thing is that, is it still marketable on the market? Is it still something that customers want to purchase? From our experience, the answer was no. So it's a feature. We try to give the best possible feature for a preamp. So when we worked on the full redevelopment on the Mimesis Excellence, we were looking for the exact part that we needed. What you find in the Mimesis Excellence as of today is the answer. And yes, people will be able to use it and they will find it probably excellent. I've got feedback from the market already, so I know what they tell me about it. I trust the R&D choices and what it ended up in doing in the product, final product.
So before we are going to the new amplifier, I want to talk a little bit about, let's look into the past, into the traditional side of things. Because like, I think the Goldmoon is a pioneer of the ultra-wideband amplification or ultra-high-speed circuitry that right now is quite popular in solid state design right now. So can you share with us why that's usage and also what make the Goldmoon DNA in amplifier?
Sure. Ultra bandwidth, it's one of the main things. You're perfectly right. Because that we've always thought from the beginning of the development of amplifiers, which is now, the company is from 1978, so we started doing amplifiers in the mid-80s, early 80s. We always thought that it was what would bring the most sonic details and that ultra large bandwidth. So this is this comes from originally this comes from university works that we have actually been exposed to at some point, people working in electronics, and we thought, wow, what a great idea, and why not using it in our new or soon to be developed amplifiers at the time. Now, okay, it's something else. What makes also Goldmoon amplifiers very the typicity of Goldmoon amplifiers, it's this stability thing as well. We have the grounding for Goldmoon. It's always been very important. You have it in the speakers, you have it in the electronics. All of these different things together make the sound signature. I mean, this is something that even when we make product evolves years after years, iteration after iteration, we always keep what's at the core of the technology at the beginning, and that proves always right. That proves always right. And sometimes we add new things. I mean, we add or we improve new things. For Mimesis Excellence, we mentioned DAC, but new DAC, a new chipset, but we worked a lot also on the preamp circuitry again. We worked a lot on volume control, ultra low noise components, and we tried our best to separate. We succeeded in separating analog from digital, left from right. Everything is really parallel. I mean, separated circuitries to avoid any interactions that for the preamp it's very important. For the preamp, you don't want to have a PSU that makes, you know.
This is amplifier, the lowest level of signal. Yeah.
So that has an impact on THD, that has an impact, you know, on all these complicated terms. But yeah.
And so we will talk about the big, bad, powerful Telos 8800, because I think it's the most expensive amplifier right now in the world. I think so, and also that they completely succeed and they supersede the Telos 5500 as well.
It does. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit of what improvements in terms of technology that break through with the Telos 8800?
I mentioned before the new capacitors.
Oh, yes.
So that's an important thing. We had a lot of things done tailor-made. That is really audio grade. We had a lot of work on the architecture of the amplifiers inside,
Yes.
how things are put together, how they are not interacting together. Use of gold-plated components, for example, better connectivity, better durability, you name it. I mean, so this is, as I said before, and I repeat it when I'm being asked because it is important. You have a core technology that works. Then what you work on what's impacting this core technology when you build a product and you put all of these things together, all of these different elements. And what we do when we come out with a new product, which is supposed to be an evolution but a higher one, we try to fix the details. And that is possible because of possibly a new circuitry. That's a possibility. We think about something new. But that is possible, made possible also because there are new components, or we use better quality ones. Maybe we didn't think about it before, and then suddenly it comes to us as an idea. The capacitors I was mentioning, maybe they are silver lined, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe there's something special about them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because,
So maybe we didn't try before, and then we think, oh, that might bring something. And this breakthrough is too strong of a word, I would say, because our job and our activity is all about details. And we are artisan of sound.
Yeah.
So thinking in a team about possibilities to improve, this is about small things as well.
Yes, so it's like Patek Philippe out there.
I would say so, yeah.
So we will trickle down from the 8800 a little bit to the newest amplifier that you have mentioned before, the 4800, 2800, and 1800 as well. So what is told, I assume they replaced their own neck change.
Kind of, yeah. So sometimes power might be different. We've decided to put them above the previous one or right under. That depends. It's also a feedback from the market sometimes. And we know the line has to be built like this.
Yes. So what have changed from this generation to the next gen? Because that obviously, because you drop the next gen surface as well, and also obviously you mentioned the design language is different, but most people will be interested in the sound and the technology as well.
To make it simple for people to understand, we start from Telos 8800. We have new ideas, sometimes details. Then we try to keep as much as we can, sometimes not possible, because sometimes these ideas we have are extremely expensive. So we try to keep the general idea, and then we go down in the line. For example, I would say Telos 4800. This is the second best because this is the one we believe will be most accessible. T8800 will be probably for the happy fews. There will be a few pairs sold around the world. That's what it's made for. Then if we want to make a bigger volume, to make sure that more customers can experience it at this level, we find a way maybe to encapsulate the essence of Telos 8800 into a smaller case, trying to keep as many things as possible in there and make it therefore more accessible. Then of course when you go down to Telos 2800 or Telos 1800, you have also power differences. You will not drive exactly the same kind of speakers with them. Well, I mean, if everybody could have a Telos 1800 at home, we would be happy, and we would be sure that people listen to their music the way they should, I would say. They have a good tool here, one of the best. So this is how I would summarize the way, because when we create the line all together. So maybe some components that we use for Telos 8800, they will be slightly different. We will use another grade, etc. But we are anyway talking, and then there is the size of it. Volume, you can't put the same as in a super high and super big amplifier like Telos 880, but they are all brothers and sisters of the flagship, of course. This is the idea.
And so we'll go off the script a little bit, and we will talk about the integrated. I think a lot of people are still interested in that, especially for the 690. 690 right now, because it will be replacing a very successful the 590 Mark II, I think so.
Exactly.
And so can you share a little bit about that as well, because it has everything combined into one unit?
It does. Integrated, it's really for us the best way for people to discover Goldmund. If you've never heard about the brand, this is a typical part of what we would. Let's talk about the network, for example, the distributor around the world. When they ask us, we love your product, we would like to represent you. We'd like to make a demo purchase so that our clientele can understand it. Telos 690 would always be part of it, always, because it's really the best way to educate people to what we do, to the Goldmund sound. It's also the possibility to come into the house of an audiophile and be in the middle of his system very easily, because it's compact, because it's only one product. It has the sound signature. It represents what we do then with a pair of mono amps and a super high-end Mimesis reference. You will always know that you're listening to a product, a system driven by Goldmund. And so Telos 690 is an evolution of what was the previous integrated on Telos 590 Next Gen 2, who had two iterations. It's an evolution in terms of size and in terms of power. We keep some good ideas we had before. When you open the product, you know there is this thermal bridge kind of golden, etc. It's still here. Yeah. So this is really more, I would say, as always, when we launch an evolution, we think about parts getting older, grabbing the opportunity maybe to get rid of obsolete parts and find what's new on the market, maybe more powerful. But we kept, all in all, the same architecture as for the Telos 590 Next Gen 2. So people, if they open the product, they won't be super surprised, but just it's more powerful, it's bigger case, a little visual evolution as well, because we took the opportunity to make it look like the new line, be it speakers or amplifiers.
We have talked about the electronic side of things, from preamplifier to the amplifier as well. So let's talk about the big boy right here, the
speakers.
Yeah. So since we met last time with, Audiolab met last time with you guys, you have introduced the Gaia, and also its brother and sister, Rhea, Thea, and Asteria. Pop as well. So Melos, and I think there's a lot of like speaker in the range right now. Yeah. So obviously, for most people, inside these speakers, they are high-end quality driver.
Yes.
Telos amplifiers, just like
that's right.
And power amplifier you can find on Telos, and also the Ally stack, the digital side of things is very similar. But I was wondering why you guys do the wireless so different from other manufacturer, because you have one or two ways of doing wireless. Either you have a USB dongle to connect to PC, Mac, or anything else. Yeah. And you have hubs, a transmitter like that.
Like a transmitter, yeah.
11.
Mimesis 11, yeah.
Yeah. And so this is the only two-way. And if you want the best sound quality-wise, right like here, you can plug in the AV receiver using wire connection, obviously. So why is you guys doing things that's so much different compared to other manufacturers right now?
So from the very beginning, we wanted to use Wi-Fi technology. It was a Texas Instrument, Army used or whatever, to make it extremely stable. So that is the technology that the dongle is using. That is the technology you find in the Mimesis 11 as well. The Mimesis 11 has the dongle that is delivered with all of our speakers. You plug it in the USB port, and then you can communicate between that source you've been plugged to. Could be something else, could be a streamer, for example. A lot of streamers, they accommodate our USB dongle as well.
Like a pinphone with a server.
That sometimes needs to be adapted.
Oh, I see.
It's been a work that's been done with every streamer brand. At the time, I remember Allrender from South Korea.
Oh, yeah, Allrender do it.
We had to work on it, but we finally made it compatible.
Wow.
So that was quite a few years ago already. Huh?
Yeah.
And so that's how the dongle works. Huh? It has its own volume control as well, etc. So Mimesis 11, it's the same. It's communicating with it with the same wireless Wi-Fi protocol, and you have more possibilities because it's a hub. So you can plug all of your different sources to it. You might be an audiophile and love whichever source. Exactly.
Yeah.
It might be CD player. It might be anything, and you can plug it to the Mimesis 11, which will then communicate wirelessly with your speaker pair. At Goldmund, what I would say is that nothing is, I would say, set in stone. There might be at some point a better technology, and then when it will be time, we will use it. But at the time, that was the most stable one, the one that allowed us to transmit, I would say, lossless. I mean, we were happy really with the result, and so we decided to go that way. That was our way. I think we've proven that it was a good way. Maybe there is another.
Yeah, it's a good way.
But it was a good way. But that was the idea from the very beginning.
And so we will talk about this product, especially for the AV processor inside. The Goldmund, it's always been there, especially from the Mimesis 16.8 HD or the
16.5, even 16. Yeah, exactly.
So, and probably it's the best sounding like AV processor right now in the market, best selling ones. So, and when I'm looking around into the website of Goldmund as well, I see is there like home theater setup. So I was wondering, is it a new direction from Goldmund as well, where the ultimate home theater solution where sound, imaging, and everything come together?
So what you just said is perfectly true. Sound and imaging and come together. It's not completely a new direction. It is maybe something a little bit more intimate in terms of what we do in our range. But I would say that we've been doing it for now about, I don't know, I've been with the company 12 years, so we already installed home cinemas at the time, so more than 12 years, I would say between 15 and 18 years maybe. This is something we decided to do a long time ago, because first of all, we had the amp technology. We wanted it to be active speakers, if we wanted to go into that direction. So we knew how to do it. At least we developed the skills to do it. Active speakers. The speakers we developed for home cinema are in-wall built, so you don't see them. They are hidden by the decoration from the architect. And so that was possible also because we have a technology which is called Proteus HT. This is with this technology that we actually calculate the room, calculate the panning. We decide where to put what for the best sounding result, so that when the room is installed with speakers, active speakers, when the configuration that we put in the processor is finalized, then you are fully immersed into the movie. Image is important in home cinema, but people don't always realize that sound is the essence. So this is what we propose, a full immersion with our own technology called Proteus HT.
Thì cái điều quan trọng nhất đó là đối với những cái giải pháp mà home theater, thực tế đây không phải là cái định hướng mới của Goldmund, mà đây là một cái giải pháp mà đã được có mặt ở đó khoảng cỡ 15 năm rồi, với những sản phẩm AV processor rất là quen thuộc của Goldmoon. Và cái điều quan trọng nhất là khác với những thương hiệu khác thì Goldmoon họ sử dụng những cái loa âm tường, đó là toàn bộ là loa active, tức là nó sẽ tích hợp ampli sẵn bên trong luôn. Các bạn chỉ cần DJ đến cái bộ AV processor này. Và bên trong AV processor này là công nghệ Proteus HT. Thì Proteus HT nó sẽ mang đến cho các bạn khả năng giải lọc phòng, khả năng giải lọc không gian tối ưu nhất và một cái âm hình chính xác nhất trong phòng nghe. Đây là một công nghệ rất là đặc trưng của Goldmoon. Và nếu các bạn nào mà có nhu cầu mà làm một phòng ultra high-end mà muốn nghe nhạc và tất cả mọi thứ đều phải ultra high-end thì chắc là Goldmoon sẽ là giải pháp cho các bạn. And thank you so much for doing the interview with us today. I learned a lot today.
Thank you for having me. Bye bye.
Bye.